Have you ever had one of those days when nothing really goes your way? Then you see it wasn't meant to. You get a new view. Yeah.
Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. If it is the first time here, welcome and thank. This channel is a place for people doing business. If you're in the business doing, either you're an entrepreneur, a business owner, CEO, profit or non-profit, as long you're in the business, this is a place for you to learn how to grow your business and create an impact. As you know, we're still in Monaco with the forum transition. It's a forum every year, sponsor who lead it by Prince Albert, and where we can meet stakeholder people, non-profit, private sector funding, edge funding, and that's the way people can meet and be in that community and find help or have courage to step in a new direction. And I am so delighted to be part of that community. And as you know, Monaco doesn't have only the cars, the food, the hotel, the glamours. They have something good. And what I like about it, the people was very friendly, and they explain to you exactly what's going on. And when you get to the forum, you will meet a lot of people. Meeting people is part of it, because that's what the forum is all about. Is like a networking, and every single person on that networking have a value, comment, or advice to give you. We're going to continue with all our interview. Hi, welcome back. Today we're going to have interview with some key holders, and probably the solution they brought can help you with the problem you have. And today we have Mr. Reyes, who have some great intel about the climate issues, sustainability, and also I met him last year in the Transition Forum. He came back to talk about the solution, and welcome back.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to see you again.
And can you tell us why this year you think it was important for you to come back to the Transition Forum?
Sure. My commitment to the forum, as I explained last year to the people who were attending, was my 3 grandchildren, the future of those 3 grandchildren. I related their names to the audience, and then basically explained to the audience why that motivated me to leave a better future for them. Now they're 1 year older, and 1 year has passed by, and if you look at what we've done in this last year, clearly lots of people have tried to do a lot, but because of the fact that there have also been actions like the United States withdrawing from the Climate Accord, their future is slightly more at stake than it was a year ago. So I'm motivated again to come here and see if I can offer my assistance to the participants here to help them scale up and accelerate their efforts to combat climate change.
What your company is doing to help solve the climate crisis
Right.
at this moment?
Okay, so my view is, first of all, everybody has their role to play. So it starts with a personal commitment, and from a personal commitment as an individual, it sort of portends into, or it finds its way into every institution that you're part of. In my case, I'm chairman of Clovis Point Capital, and Clovis Point Capital is basically an asset management company, an investment company. We invest only in 2 types of investments. One are software companies, and the second is technology-enabled service companies. So, by definition, when we invest in a software company, it is attempting to improve the efficiency of a process. The more efficient the process, the less energy consumptive it is. I'll give you an example. So we're invested in Rivs, which is in the talent management and acquisition space. It's an online interviewing tool, and it's AI based and all that stuff. But one of the things that it permits companies to do is to reduce travel costs by orders of magnitude. So imagine if lots of people are using this kind of a software, they're traveling less and they're adding less and less carbon to the atmosphere. So that's an example of how we add to the climate change mitigation goals.
Do you think that program is supposed to be also offered to the government? That's the way they can know what to do to in support of consumption?
Sure. So the program is available. The software is available to private sector, public sector, any sort of entity can use that. And I use that only as an example. Anytime you use a piece of software and it's doing some functionality better than what was been done before, it just a priori improves efficiency of human activity.
Since you say it's available to anyone to get access to it, how expensive it is? Because most of the time people want to do stuff. They say, I want to do it. It's not like I don't know I have to do it, but I cannot afford it. What people need to know when they're doing those type of investment?
That's a great question. So let me move the focus away from that particular software to a general discussion on what if somebody cannot afford it. Okay? Meaning they are well-intentioned, they want to do the right thing, but they cannot afford to do the right thing. So take a look at human activity. In general, human activity can be sort of devolved into 4 buckets of activity. 1, social activity, and I include family in that. So that's social. What you and I are doing is professional activity. Well, it's partly social, but I mean, we were friends from a year ago. So it's partly social, but it's also professional, right? You and I are trying to exchange best practices. Number 3 is public service, and number 4 is philanthropy. So the answer to any human problem, particularly a problem that exists at scale, like climate change, it's an existential problem. The answer is always in, first, collaboration, 2, education, and targeting specifically those communities that either don't know or can't do it. So knowing alone doesn't help if you can't do it, and if you don't know about it, you certainly can't do it. So let's take the case of a very simple metric. So we'll just use some rough math. 7 billion people on the face of this earth, right? And one thing is for sure, the maternal instinct in a woman translates into her desire for her progeny, her children, to prosper, right? So again, a priori, a female has much more instinctively or DNA level desire to create a better environment overall for her children, her grandchildren, and the children of their children, right? Now, how much need is there for female empowerment? The 3.5 billion. If you just take 50%, 3.5 billion. If we don't focus on female empowerment, and Lord knows we know over the centuries how women have been oppressed, right? They've been kept behind. Even today, in the most developed societies, they don't earn the same amount of money that men do for the same amount of work, and there are glass ceilings that exist everywhere. So climate change is not any different from any other problem in society that exists in sale. It starts with female empowerment, female education about climate change, and then empowered to do something about it. Next, think about the youth. Who's going to live this future that you and I are worried about? Me? No, I'm in the last trimester of my life, right? I don't know how much time I have left, but my kids are going to live longer, and my grandchildren longer still, and by the way, they're expected to have much longer life expectancy.
Yes.
All right. So now, what does that tell us? Again, we need to empower our youth through education, and then by getting their voices heard in policy making. Take a look at this transition forum. Guess what is happening over here? It's a great effort, right? Great effort. The second year in a row. Look at the number of women over here compared to men. What's the percentage?
We only 3% probably.
Okay. And how many young people do we see up here?
At only one.
Okay. So that's sort of it's staring us in the face. We don't get females involved and empowered. And we don't get youth involved and empowered. There's very little chance. But you flip it around, if you get them involved and empowered both these constituencies, there's no problem we cannot solve.
I have a question people always ask. They say, we go to the training, we go to forum, but they have a lot of education without equity. How we can give them the tool and equity part? That's the way they can do their job. It's because I know some people who really want to do it. I know some people who say, for example, when you tell people to about consumption, the way they have to eat, they tell you a chicken, for example, is like, I got a whole chicken for $3. By the time it takes me $25 if I want to eat veggie to fulfill the same amount of food I'm supposed to put on my table. How we can balance that? I said we need a balance between education and equity.
Yes. So, and how are you defining equity in this discussion?
The equity, that's been the tool and money for them to be
equity
able,
as in money.
Money,
okay.
Yes.
So hark back to what I said. All human activity can be divided in those 4 buckets. Philanthropy and public policy are 2 very important aspects of it. So societies have to decide together what's more important. If climate change rises to or mitigation of climate change rises to the top, those that have more have to pay more, right? There's no surprise that people like Warren Buffett are in favor of higher estate taxes, for instance, because they know that they have benefited from society at large, and those that they are leaving behind in society need to benefit from it as well. So increase in taxes, providing the government with enough resources to efficiently then dole out to these communities that you're talking about, where you want them to act a certain way, except today they don't have equity. You have to provide them equity. So one is through public policy. Number 2 is through philanthropy. Number 2 is through systematic philanthropy. Now, if you look at the scale of philanthropy, you say, okay, what is the most notable examples of philanthropic effort? The Billionaires Pledge led by Bill Gates and Warren Buffett. And then Bill and Warren have pledged pretty much all of their fortunes to philanthropy. But if you look at the world at large, and you see the scale of commercial activity, which is roughly about, call it 75 to 80 trillion dollars of world GDP.
Yeah.
How much of that is philanthropy versus commerce? A very small thing. Okay.
Well, not even 1%.
So we need to add to, and again, I go back to, if women were made sensitive to this, when they're rocking their children, when they're 6 months of age and 1 year, this is what the story they're telling them. This is how they're raising the children. This change has to be at the DNA level. And for the DNA level change to take place, it has to be primarily transmitted by the female of the species. And I'm not suggesting that you leave aside the males, but females have been left behind in this discussion in general.
What kind of suggestion you can give us or whoever listen to you, how we can fight the climate crisis?
So my humble opinion is this: if you can only affect the life of one female, find somebody promising in your life, in your circle, and support them. Number 1. Number 2, if you can find a young person, regardless of sex, regardless of gender, and you can support them in any activity that relates to climate change mitigation, support that. If you can only do one, because remember, all of us are called upon not to do great things, just do what we can. Okay? And if you have the ability and the resources to do this at scale, do it at scale yourself. But here's the last thing I'll tell you. There is blessing in collaboration. So find other like-minded individuals. Have conversations like you and I are having. I am sure that after you and I finish this discussion and walk away, you won't forget me.
That's correct.
And I won't forget you, right? So the next step is going to be, I'm going to seek out ways in which I can assist you. You're going to seek out ways in which I can assist you. And some blessing will inure. Imagine if this were happening with 7 billion people on the face of this earth. This earth would be a different place.
Now you hear what Mr. Riaz has to say, and I hope you understand. Anything you do affects somebody else's life. It's been your action and inaction affect somebody else's life anyway. Therefore, I encourage you to take an action to make an impact and encourage others to do. And I hope you share, like, and you subscribe. That's the way you can see my next interview with Mr. William. I have my dear friend I met last year at the Transition Forum in Monaco, and I was so glad to see him again to bring back the solution, because a lot of time we talk about problem, nobody talk about the solution. And I was so happy to see him, and more than 13 people I met last year, he was one of them who coming back with a tangible solution, not just like a solution to talk about issue we already know, but it come up with a solution. Let me introduce you to my dear friend,
William. Andres, how are you? Good to see you. I mean, actually, you're the first person I noticed when I came, if you remember this morning.
Yes.
And it's great to have you. You know, I'm happy that you're here, and you've been a great medium of communicating what we're doing. You know, because it's good to do things, but it's also good for other people to know, so that it can impact their minds, right? Change and practical change has the greatest impact on the mind of people, especially the younger people.
Great. What bring you because you was here last year? What bring you this year to the forum? Will make you think the forum it was a place for you to come and back to share with us what you have been doing and what impact you've been doing in your community.
Very well. This forum, the Monaco Forum, basically is called the Transition Forum. And last year, for some reason, I had a lot of views and a lot of people saw the presentation that I did on the forum. And I noticed, in fact, that what I'm doing is energy transition. Okay? On our scale, but it's energy transition. Let me explain. Our work is focused into creating a platform, mostly for African women in rural areas, to be able to process their agro resources. Of course, we are taking shea because shea is the most difficult to process. So if you can do the most difficult, then you can do the easier ones.
I agree.
Right? And what we're doing, which is using renewable energy instead of wood, right? And then using solar instead of, for example, electricity from a generator, which they use, from a diesel generator, is in fact transition, right? So the forum names match very well with what we are doing, even though in many cases they didn't have anything before, but it is still transition, because if they were to go toward processing the resources that they had, they would have been for non-clean energy, right? 80% of the country uses wood.
Yeah, that's a life wood.
Yes, no, not only in the rural area, but also in the cities. Right? Simply because other sources of energies are not available. Okay? So you see this magnificent shea butter.
Yeah, which I use.
Yes.
My hands. I used that one this morning, and my hand is still sticky and soft.
It takes 10 to 15 kilograms of wood to make 1 kilogram of shea. So that was not sustainable with a country that have 1.5 million women working in the sector. and producing 400,000 tons. You imagine the amount of wood. Entire forests were being cut down. This is why we took on the problems, and this is one face of it. We have created very, very high-end products.
That's a lotion. Yes,
that's a
very good.
lotion. This is the body butter. And an interesting one, for example, is the local soap, right?
That's a hand soap or body soap?
That's a body soap.
That's a body soap.
Let me explain to you why the soap is important.
Yes.
It's also very important. The shampoo, the soap and shampoo. If we are a billion people and if we use 10 liter each to shower, okay? Right? That's 10 billion liter of water that we're putting down the drain. But you know it's not 10, it's 50. But what is in that water? When we use the soap and the shower gel that are on the market, if you analyze that water, you'll find 20 or 30 chemicals in there.
That's
so people
correct.
don't realize that these 20, 50, 100, maybe 1,000 billions of water used for shower every day and for washing the dishes is the single biggest sources of pollution. So when you wash with this soap and you analyze the water, then what do you have inside? Shea butter, organic oil, essential oil, right? Cocoa ash, which is 100% natural. It's a water that you can even recycle right there in your house and reuse it for other things. So this is why, like you were saying earlier, the change in attitudes on the daily life is so important. And we're bringing the product with that, and at the same time helping the African communities develop from the resources that they have.
It will be, I think that product will be not only for the African community, it will be a global effort. For example, most of my children, they have allergy, and because of their allergy, we didn't know. Some of, like I got one of my daughter is because of the soap, it was allergy of soap. One of them is allergy of the deodorant, the paraben and deodorant. The other one, I think even the hair she's breathing, she's allergy of it. Because and we don't know, the product we have in our house can be the cause of all of that. What we did, we just eliminate some of them and we start using natural product. I'm a big fan of natural product, and I knew sometimes people, like you was giving compliment, it's a compliment for me when I tell people I gained 10 years back of my age by using natural product. 10 years, I'm a grandmother of two, and people say, how old are you when you got your kids?
I told you you were 25.
Yeah, the thing is by using natural product who have no chemical, your hair, your skin, everything on you will be renewed. It's just like you got you renew your skin. People doesn't know that you can renew your skin every day by whatever you put on it, and I'm a big fan of that. As you know, we all know the problem about climate change. We know climate change is a big issue. Now they even declare it as a climate emergency. Me, I say it's a climate outbreak because it's a global. If it's an emergency, it can be in one place, it's not in another place. But it's an outbreak. I'll make it like exactly you got a cold or we got something. I put it on the same level as Ebola. I tell people that because climate change not going anywhere. The only problem is we're scared of it like it is something we're not supposed to talk about. It's the time for us to talk about climate change because it is the daily part of our life. What can the solution you can bring to others, to investor or business leader, entrepreneur, or a woman who just doesn't have no clue how to start a business, and you can tell them, this is the solution. You cannot be part of the pollution, but be part of the solution. What kind of suggestion you can give them?
Exactly. Andres, you see, the work that we do today is to structure value chain with government, which means we don't only do one project, but we basically design a value chain. We design technology. So what we tell them is that, listen, here's the technology, right? Here's the technology that you can use in your business. here are the technology, the way you can develop your products. Here are the certification. Here are the labelization. Here is the model that is friendly to the environment, that is respectful of the environment, that you can use to develop your products and to develop your business. Of course, we're doing the share value chain, but the same model is applicable to different value chain across different countries in the world, right? So we are making these models and technologies available to people. You know, they can just come to us and either be a partner or tell us we need to use that technology, and we'll arrange for them to have access to the knowledge, to technology, and to develop their own business.
What about if a beauty supply, a chain supply? Because some in the U.S. most of the time people doesn't have time to make their own. They prefer to outsource it,
Yes.
or they just purchase it. Can somebody say, okay, I need to sell that product and my beauty supply? It's the same process, or it must have the technology?
No, it's the same process. We are looking at the production side, so we're looking more into the countries where you have the resource. Now, in the other country, we connect the value, which is part of the value chain, and we will connect basically simply the production, and we have a platform. We have an internet platform for that can connect the distributors, the people that want to resell the products, with the groups that are producing the product or ourselves. And we have a platform, for example, in Dubai. We have a platform in Singapore. We hope to have a platform in US to facilitate that so the person can supply locally. So we'll send our products there, and the person can cut the time that they need to supply, right, for supplying the product, and just get the product right there.
That's a good idea. Can you tell people where they can find you, on which link, if you have a website, and you can
Yes.
give your information? That's the way they can reach out to you.
Yeah, so the first project, you can reach us at Serious Share. It's in one word, so it's www.seriousshare.com.
And thank you for your time, William, and I hope to see you next year and many years to see how the progress and how many people in your community you've been making a lot of impact, because I think that product will be not only good for your community, but it will be a global solution to our planet. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bonjour, c'est Andrise. Je suis la gardienne de changement du climat, et aussi comment les gens peuvent vivre dans la façon conscieuse, la façon de penser aux autres. Parce que parfois on oublie qu'on est le reflet de la planète. Et comme on est le reflet de la planète, ce qu'on veut pour notre bien, on devait aussi le partager pour les autres. Alors j'ai Monsieur Philippe qui est avec moi aujourd'hui, et comme ça, il va vous expliquer ce qu'il a amené au forum, pourquoi il est intéressé, et aussi un peu de sa compagnie. Monsieur Philippe?
Oui, bonjour. Donc en fait, je suis Philippe Ouaki Di Giorno. Je suis l'inventeur de la technologie Politaire. Ma société c'est PODG Développement, SAS. Je développe ma technologie depuis 1991 au niveau des recherches, au niveau développement, et depuis maintenant 3 ans, 4 ans, on a une croissance énorme, parce que maintenant il y a réellement la compréhension de ma technologie dans le monde entier. Je distribue dans plus de 30 pays, et que ce soit au Brésil, au Mexique, dans les pays d'Amérique du Sud, mais surtout en Afrique, Burkina Faso, Sénégal, Côte d'Ivoire, Bénin, Togo, et bientôt Ghana. En fait, on a toute une zone qui s'intéresse au développement, au Cameroun aussi. Et l'idée, c'est quoi en fait le Politaire? Le Politaire, c'est une technologie de rupture, c'est-à-dire qu'on change toutes les données. On a un petit granulé qui, au contact de l'eau, va transformer l'eau en solide, et avec tous les fertilisants à l'intérieur. Et c'est totalement organique, c'est à base de cellulose principalement. et la plante, les racines de la plante vont se greffer avec ces nodules et ça va permettre à la plante de se stabiliser et d'économiser jusqu'à 80% d'eau, 30 à 50% d'engrais, de consommer pratiquement plus de produits phytosanitaires parce que la plante est beaucoup plus résistante naturellement. Et puis tout cela faisant, on va avoir des plantes beaucoup plus développées avec des rendements incroyables. On augmente sur certaines cultures de 200, 300, 400% par rapport à une culture solitaire avec très très peu d'eau. Et pour les arbres, c'est encore plus spectaculaire, c'est-à-dire que les arbres se développent d'une façon très rapide et naturelle. Parce qu'en fait, on met en avant leur vrai potentiel. Et un arbre à 2 ans, il a plus 3 ans, mais 4 ans. Il y a 4 ans, il a 8 ans. Et comme ça, il se développe. Et au niveau de la production des arbres fruitiers, à partir de 2-3 ans, les arbres ils produisent comme des arbres de 6 à 10 ans. Donc des 100 kilos de citron, on a eu ça dans plusieurs endroits, que ce soit en Nouvelle-Calédonie, au Sénégal, au Maroc, au niveau des agrumes, enfin partout. Et donc, avec ces démonstrations, on a pris conscience qu'on était en train de changer les choses. Et que maintenant, il y a des millions de gens un peu partout qui ne jurent plus que par le politaire parce qu'on leur recrée de l'espoir, de la dignité et qui comprennent qu'en fait leur territoire, c'est ce qui est leur plus grande richesse. Et que même si au départ ils pensaient que leur territoire ne pouvait pas subvenir à leurs besoins, avec la technologie, avec la volonté de leur apporter des savoirs, eh bien, ils reprennent, ils s'accaparent leur territoire, on stabilise les populations et en même temps, on crée aussi du développement avec la transformation, parce que comme on produit beaucoup, donc on peut valoriser la matière. Et comme on valorise, on crée de la richesse. Un exemple, c'est que on avait fait un programme au Sénégal où on donnait 1 kilo par villageois. Et de ce kilo, au départ, eux faisaient de la tomate. Avant le politaire, ils faisaient 400 kilos de tomates chacun, avec la quantité d'eau qui va avec. Eh bien, en leur donnant 1 kilo de politaire, avec la même quantité de graines et la même quantité d'eau, ils faisaient 2 tonnes chacun de très belles tomates.
Est-ce que ce programme, on peut l'utiliser dans des pays qui n'ont pas d'eau? Parce qu'il y a des endroits qui sont vraiment arides.
Oui, absolument. On peut arriver à des zones où il n'y a pratiquement pas d'eau. Et l'idée, c'est quoi? C'est-à-dire qu'on peut même capter l'humidité de l'air. Donc il y a des systèmes maintenant où on va, entre la variation du jour et de la nuit, on va faire de la percolation de gouttelettes d'eau et ça va être suffisant pour faire de la culture, pour planter des arbres.
Je pense que ce sera une solution très fiable.
Oui, en Namibie, par exemple, c'est le cas vrai, on a pu remettre en place des programmes agricoles et des programmes de forestation où ça ne marchait pas. C'était très sec et il n'y avait pratiquement pas d'eau.
Pour un pays qui n'a pas, parce qu'il y a des pays qui n'ont vraiment pas d'argent,
oui.
Comment ce programme peut aider à...
Oui, alors il y a plusieurs possibilités. Même ce qu'il faut comprendre, c'est que le politaire, on en met très très peu. C'est-à-dire que par exemple pour un pied de tomate, c'est 2 grammes. 2 grammes, ça représente à peu près 5 centimes, 5-6 centimes d'euros. Et à partir de cela, le plant, quand vous l'avez planté, vous avez eu à peu près 20 kilos de tomates. Le prix de la tomate en Afrique, elle est énorme. Donc déjà, le prix du politaire, c'est rien. Mais pour valoriser encore, je leur explique qu'il ne faut pas qu'ils arrachent. Ils coupent la tige, ils vont replanter au même endroit, par exemple des aubergines. Et donc le prix du politaire, il est divisé par 2 et on peut refaire ça 3 fois. Donc après, le prix du politaire, c'est même pas 1 centime, 2 centimes, c'est plus rien. Et même des populations qui ont peu de moyens peuvent, grâce au politaire, passer à un niveau supérieur de développement. Et ça, c'est une chose. Mais maintenant, étant donné que de plus en plus d'organisations, d'ONG, de bailleurs de fonds ont compris que j'apporte une vraie solution d'ampleur, ils peuvent aussi mettre en place des programmes où ils financent pour apporter aux populations qui sont dans la nécessité des programmes agricoles, des programmes de reforestation et d'agroforesterie. Voilà.
Est-ce que vous pensez que le gouvernement devait s'implanter ou adapter un programme pareil?
Quel gouvernement?
Le gouvernement de n'importe quel pays, parce que c'est quelque chose qui apporte...
Bien sûr. Mais j'ai le cas au Sénégal où je suis dans le programme du PUDC, c'est le programme du président Sall, où on est en train de développer pour revégétaliser les programmes de fourrage, par exemple pour le bétail, les programmes agricoles. On est aussi sur des programmes gouvernementaux au Burkina Faso. Et là, bientôt, on va mettre en place des programmes gouvernementaux au Mali. Voilà, donc là, ça commence à prendre. Oui.
Bon, je pense que c'est vraiment une solution qui va.
Ce qui est important, c'est que tout le monde doit être des ambassadeurs. De
Oui.
dire que ça existe. Il ne faut plus dire qu'on n'est que dans des problèmes. C'est ça la problématique.
Oui, c'est ça. On sait le problème.
On sait.
Depuis 10 ans. Hein, moi,
Voilà, facile.
Depuis 10 ans, je sais qu'il y a un problème. Je vis dans le problème.
Voilà.
Ma famille a vu le problème d'asthme, le problème d'allergie. Les endroits qu'on allait avant ne sont plus avant. Il n'y a plus d'eau. Il y a la chaleur. Je sais, le problème est là. Et si on ne fait que comprendre, on ne fait que dire qu'il y a un problème,
eh ben, on va avoir encore plus de problèmes. Voilà.
Maintenant, le stress va arriver et ça va...
C'est une catastrophe.
Ça sera une catastrophe.
Donc moi, ce que je dis, c'est qu'on apporte la bonne parole, on a les solutions. Et ces solutions, c'est pas dans des tests, dans des pilotes, non, c'est sur des milliers d'hectares, sur des millions d'arbres, dans plein de pays. Et comme ça, je considère qu'après, il faut qu'il y ait une prise de conscience d'organisation, de gouvernement, de fondations qui disent, voilà, maintenant ça y est, on arrête de tourner autour du pot et on se met au travail parce que maintenant on a les solutions. Et à partir de ça, on peut, je vous assure, je l'ai prouvé dans des endroits où on disait que c'était impossible, et à chaque fois qu'on me dit que c'est impossible, c'est mon grand plaisir de montrer que c'est possible.
Est-ce qu'une personne individuelle peut rentrer dans le programme ou ça doit être dans une communauté?
Non, des groupements, parce que là, par exemple, là, on a un programme. Là, hier, on me l'a validé, c'est le programme des groupements de femmes au Burkina Faso, où il y a 115 programmes, et à chaque fois, c'est 300 femmes. Et à partir de ça, ils sont accompagnés pour mettre en place un travail commun. Dans le cas du Burkina, il y a une sorte de microcrédit qui est avancé pour mettre en place des programmes. Et quand les femmes vont, on leur apporte les graines, on leur apporte le polytère, le savoir-faire, tout le matériel qu'elles ont besoin, pour que, en fait, à travers les femmes, on donne vraiment le bon exemple et qu'elles créent de la richesse. Et grâce à ces richesses, on va encore plus avancer. Donc vous voyez, les moyens sont possibles. Maintenant, ce qu'il faut, c'est trouver des stratégies ensemble et puis arriver à mettre ça en œuvre. Parce que bon, je dis, une fois, je vais vous raconter rapidement une chose, c'est j'étais aux Émirats et je racontais une histoire à un Émirati et je l'ai fait énormément rigoler. Et pour faire rigoler un Émirati, c'est pas évident. Et je lui ai dit, je suis comme une très belle femme, avec une dot en or, et je suis dans le désert. S'il n'y a aucun homme qui passe, je finis vieille fille.
C'est vrai?
Voilà. Donc moi, Dieu merci, j'ai une technologie hors norme que je veux mettre à la disposition. Mais si je reste dans mon coin et que personne m'écoute et l'utilise, eh ben cette technologie elle va passer à côté. Et il y aura de plus en plus de problèmes. Et je sais que ma technologie peut sauver énormément de gens. Donc, vous voyez les enjeux. Donc, moi, je me considère avoir une responsabilité. Donc, je suis ouvert à développer, à écouter, à avancer pour pouvoir changer les choses réellement.
Oui. Merci de votre travail. Je pense que plus de pays seront dans la démarche de votre technologie.
Oui.
Et aussi, j'espère que l'année prochaine, dans le forum de transition, forum à Monaco encore, vous allez venir pour nous dire beaucoup plus de choses.
J'espère, et peut-être faire plus une présentation plus importante.
Oui, je crois que c'est ça qui manque dans ce forum. L'année dernière, il y en avait, je ne sais pas si cette année il y en aura, parce qu'après, il y avait des des intersections de discussion et que vous pouvez rencontrer des
Vous m'avez
groupes et
dit
tout ça.
que vous êtes américaine.
Oui.
Normalement, je fais un reportage avec ABC News, 2020.
2020.
Ouais. Donc là, on est en train de préparer.
Ok. Vous allez faire ici ou vous allez rentrer là-bas?
Normalement, ils m'ont demandé qu'on aille dans des pays.
Oui.
C'est-à-dire qu'avec les journalistes, on va aller, je vais voir, soit au Sénégal, soit le Burkina, soit j'ai le choix.
Ouais,
J'ai le Brésil aussi.
ouais. Bon, j'espère un jour pouvoir à la télé ou peut-être être témoin. Être témoin de votre...
Mais j'ai là fait pas mal de reportages en plein de télé déjà.
Ouais.
En France, dans les pays arabes, au Canada aussi. J'ai fait télévision canadienne, radio-télévision canadienne, suisse, complément d'enquête en France.
Oui, moi je sais que ça va arriver parce que maintenant on a la portée du média.
Oui,
et à
oui.
cause du média maintenant les choses marchent.
Oui, mais le problème c'est que des fois le média étouffe le média. C'est-à-dire qu'il y a trop d'informations et les gens ils n'arrivent plus à savoir les bonnes choses.
C'est pourquoi Climate Question je fais différemment. Climate Question c'est une idée, c'est pas dans le dictionnaire. Hein. Tu vas chercher Climate Question, tu vas pas trouver. Et l'idée de Climate Question c'est faut que les gens me demandent ce que je dis et je les explique. Climate Question, c'est de faire une action au changement du climat chaque jour. Fait que le changement du climat est un mot quotidien. C'est comme je me lève le matin, je me lave, une prise de conscience, je dois me laver, je dois boire de l'eau, je dois manger. Oui, je n'utilise pas l'eau comme ça, je me coupe pas les pieds, je me coupe pas les mains, je m'arrache pas les dents. Je pense que c'est la même chose pour la Terre. Si on pense, on met le mot climate avec tangible, avec les choses que les gens comprennent le mieux.
Oui,
parce que je pense que c'est ça le problème.
Il faut être dans l'action.
Oui, c'est ça le problème. On ne fait que dire, au lieu que les gens...
C'est ce qu'ils ont dit d'ailleurs, c'est ce qu'ils ont dit. C'est-à-dire que combien il y a de conférences qui disent il y a des problèmes,
il y a des problèmes. Tout le monde a peur.
Voilà.
Oui.
mais il y a aussi des solutions.
Des solutions.
Et parce qu'il y a des solutions, il faut se mettre au travail. Et faire les choses. Et là, je vous jure, on enlève tout. Sincèrement, moi, par rapport à ce que je sais faire, je peux dire que si il y a des grandes institutions, des grandes fondations qui mettent les moyens pour pouvoir utiliser ma technologie, on change toutes les données. On a fait un programme où, avec le Politaire, on fait baisser la température de 10 degrés. 10 degrés. Donc, parce qu'en fait, je fais des puits, en fait, on fait des carottages, et on injecte le Politaire, et puis l'eau, il y a un effet, plus il fait chaud, plus ça donne la fraîcheur dans le sol. Et après, avec les arbres, on crée un microclimat. Donc vous me donnez même un endroit catastrophique, je peux faire quelque chose. Dans les 2 ans, c'est changé.
Merci pour votre temps.
Merci,
et j'espère qu'on se verra encore.
Eh ben oui.
I know that you got this. Yeah, you got this. Give me the faith that you got this. Even today, you got this. I know that you got this.
On a des relations extrêmement constructives, un partenariat très fort sur toutes les solutions qui peuvent ici sur notre littoral méditerranéen apporter des réponses en matière énergétique, en matière de qualité de l'air, en matière de qualité des eaux et mettre en commun aussi nos savoir-faire. Donc les organisateurs de ce forum, c'est une formidable initiative, m'ont convié à venir illustrer ce que nous faisons. Et je suis venu expliquer comment la métropole de Nice-Côte d'Azur, avec ses 49 communes, depuis les cimes du massif du Mercantour jusqu'au bord de la Méditerranée, en partenariat avec Monaco, apporte une contribution importante à l'assainissement et à la lutte contre le réchauffement climatique avec son plan climat-énergie.
Alors la métropole de Nice est engagée pour des mesures fortes en matière de transition écologique, j'allais dire énergétique, mais plus globalement écologique. Est-ce que vous pouvez nous en détailler?
Bien évidemment, c'est d'abord la valorisation de toutes nos ressources naturelles. Je vous ai rappelé notre géographie, on bord du littoral, en 49, avec aussi Mercantour. Donc nous avons des ressources naturelles avec la neige, avec l'hydroélectrique, avec les forêts, la filière bois, le compostage, la valorisation de nos déchets, le solaire, nos nappes phréatiques dans nos rivières et nos fleuves, même l'exploitation de la Méditerranée avec notre laboratoire océanographique de Villefranche, qui font qu'en mettant tout ça en commun, nous sommes en train de monter à un niveau de production d'énergie naturelle par rapport à l'énergie consommée aujourd'hui, qui est en train de passer de 6 à 33% d'ici 2025-2026. Puis la deuxième grosse initiative, elle repose bien sûr sur la mobilité, notamment avec la livraison cette année de notre nouvelle ligne de tramway entre l'aéroport de Nice et le port de Nice, entre le stade de l'Alliance Riviera et l'aéroport et le port de Nice, et en nous reliant de manière interconnectée avec la ligne 1 qui fait les deux axes sud-nord de la ville. Nous allons faire baisser de 20% la circulation automobile, les émissions de CO2, supprimer 800 bus de la circulation, donc faire baisser les émissions de particules fines et en même temps remplacer les espaces libérés par cette circulation par la plantation de près de 5000 arbres, une vraie reforestation de la ville de Nice.
You got this. I know that you got this. Breathe out. Feels good. Just shout it.
Hi, how are you? Hi everyone, this is Andries. Today I'm with Alexandra at the Transition Forum in Monaco, and she was amazed. I was amazed by the way I think we got the same thought. That social conscious living guilt, and she was on the podium and she was talking about that, and I want her to be more elaborate and talk more about it, because the interview was too long because it was more people than the podium, but I want her specifically to analyze some good points she was sharing with us at the podium. Welcome to the climatication.
Thank you.
If you know, climatication is not a word, but it's the climatication is to remind people to live social conscious and to make a climate action is a daily conversation.
Yes. Good.
How you can help us understand about you and your company.
Yes. So I'm Alexandra Wantel and I'm Executive Director at World Future Council. The council was set up to work to pass on a healthy planet to our future generations. So we're looking and identifying and spreading knowledge about solutions that we have for climate, sustainable energy, sustainable agriculture, some of the very urgent issues that we need to tackle right now.
That's great. And one of the interesting point, you was giving 6 ways we
Yes.
can do that. Can you help us understand those 6 ways?
Yes, we talked about the major challenges we are facing in terms of food, and I mentioned 6 critical challenges that we are facing. The first challenge I mentioned was that we still have the very sad fact that we have more than 800 million people dying from hunger every year.
That's a lot.
It's really a lot, and so we talked about the issue that not only that people are dying from hunger, we also have children suffering, and actually we have enough food on the planet so that everyone can actually eat properly, but we do have the issue of food waste. So 1/3 of the food is wasted, and I mentioned that if you would only collect 1/3 of the food waste from Europe and the United States and UK, you could feed all of the hungry people with it, so that would be sufficient. So food waste isn't a critical issue to be raised. Of course, we also need to eradicate poverty. And then I raised the second critical issue, climate change, that the whole agriculture system is producing a lot of greenhouse gas emissions, not just only by the production of food, for instance, specifically the production of meat is very high carbon intensive. You know that also the the animals are emitting methane, specifically beef, but we also have other greenhouse gas emissions from the sector, but we also have food miles from transporting food all over the place, all over the planet, by plane, on the ship, on land. So it's an issue about having more sustainable, locally produced food. And then I also mentioned the issue that we have an issue with loss of biodiversity. So the problem is that now more and more insects, bees are getting endangered. They're very important for the pollination, and we need them for the basic ecosystem services. So we need them for food security, for water purification, for having access to medicine. So we also need to have a food system that is really diverse, that is biodiverse. We need to have seed variety. So that is important as well. And then I also mentioned water pollution. With the current agriculture system, we actually have the production of nitrogens, which are ending up in the groundwater aquifers. So we have statistics from the Food and Agriculture Organization that in Europe, for instance, more than a third of the water bodies are under pressure from contamination. In addition, we have the pesticide residues that you also find in the food. So we also here need to really reduce the pesticide use. And that also links to the last issue, which is health. That we see now that also a lot of food is produced that is very processed, that has a lot of additives, that has even hormones, or treated. Animals are treated with antibiotics, so you have residues in the food. So it's very important also to have more healthy food diets, because we see that we have more than 2 billion people around the world that are overweight or suffering from obesity, and also more and more diseases like autoimmune diseases, because the food is not produced in a healthy way, in a sustainable way, also respecting local traditions and cultures. So you see, it's important that we are really working having a transition. That's why we're discussing it, the transition forum. We need a transition to more sustainable, biodiverse, climate resilient food in the interest of future generations.
Do you believe it's possible for us to reach that point? And what do you think a corporate can do, or the government? Because it's about not only the people, it's about the government and people, because government have to do a lot.
Yes, it is possible, and actually we do not have any alternative. We don't have a planet B. We don't have a planet B, right? We have to find a solution, and we have in the World Future Council, we really have looked into what is possible, where do we have good solutions. We now have the Future Policy Award, so we awarded governments that have done very innovative policies. For instance, the city of Quito, the city of Los Angeles have very innovative policies with a smaller water ecological footprint and a smaller carbon footprint. So they're implementing it already. We also have awarded the government of Sikkim in the north of India. They have, for instance, switched entirely organic. They have started to ban pesticides. But we also see other positive examples also in Europe. For instance, we see in Denmark, they have very much worked with the business, with the farmers. They have created new products, more than 400 new products for organic agriculture, because they also have seen the need to protect the water, to have more healthy diets. And so it's important that we look into these positive examples and see how we can scale them up.
It was a pleasure to talking with you. And,
yes.
I'm a big fan of sustainability development, and
yes.
also I believe the less chemical we put in our body, the healthier we can live.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good work. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share your thought and comment. I'm in the process doing, and I am going to bring you exactly what I do, what I see, the challenge, the good, the bad, and the ugly of the business. And if you still want to keep up with me or supporting me and my journey, and we can learn together, keep watching.